have usually, but not in my experience, since it's been COVID all along, but we knew we'd be small tonight.
Of course we can. Well, I thought I'd come and keep you on. Now, I am triple vaxxed, but if you feel more comfortable, I'll put a mask on.
I was gonna suggest you do. I think we're gonna be changing back our policy depending on the numbers.
So we'll go get one of the masks.
Hmm?
Put it on.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
Masks everywhere.
It's, I know places in Florida, my understanding is now they're going back to Zoom. They're not even in-house.
Good.
That
I lost this in the synagogue and someone found it. Good.
Oh. Here, which one is that? There, sorry, I just moved it in there.
I know.
Oh, yeah, that's a good, interesting book.
Have you read it?
I have not read it, but
Which one is
I
it?
have it somewhere. I don't think I've ever plowed into it, though.
What book is it?
Go in there.
What is it? Books. Which one is it? It's Getting Our Groove Back by Scott Shea. He is a Wall Streeter guy, and he looked at the American Jewish population as a market factor of pools and ages and stuff, and realized that our numbers are dwindling. Mostly because Jewish people are intermarrying or not being affiliated anymore. So we wrote a business plan on what to do.
Is that it?
Yeah. I was actually gonna give it to Bernie, but he wasn't here. And at the end of the book,
Getting our
Groove Back, at the end of the book, there's an actual business plan. Or that, yeah, take a quick look at it. I mean, it's, so what he's done, Scott Shea is now actually president of a large bank in New York, chairman.
Getting our groove back by Scott Shea.
And I've been talking about this book for a while.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that they say that you should do is repeat your bar mitzvah every 18 years. And if you repeat your bar mitzvah, this is a book that I've touted for a long time. It's Scott Shea's Getting Our Groove Back. And it's all about energizing the American Jewish population so that our numbers do not continue to dwindle. And he actually has a business plan, various things. But one of the things that he did, which Bernie, as you know, did, is repeat your bar mitzvah.
Okay, so Bernie waited until he's 83 years old to do that, because I didn't even know that apparently that had been the policy or the policy, that after you have lived your full life, and it's what 70 is expected to be, then another 13 years is when you have another bar mitzvah.
Well, what Scott says is that you should do it every 18 years. He picked 18 years because it's Scott. There's no magic to it. But the reason he did that was,
Rejuvenating.
well, 13 plus 18, you're 31. You probably just got married. It's a good time to reestablish your roots. You might have just had a kid.
Right.
31 and 18, it's 49. Scott Shea.
Groove, it's groove, right?
Getting Our Groove Back.
Groove back by Scott Shea.
Second edition. 'Cause I
He's up
realized
to his third.
On his third?
I was just told he was up to his third. I'm sure it's good. Yeah.
I heard that title from either
Yeah.
the 90s or.
I like Kindle because I can lay on the couch.
Getting your groove back.
You know what the best
So
thing I
there's
like
all
about
these
the
different
Kindle
things that he says we
is
should
that if you
do.
don't know a word,
And
you
one of
just
the things they
press
read
on the word.
invitation. He's coming back from the Caribbean. That's what he says is that if you're Jewish.
All right, well, we're gonna get going. Well, this is a little tall, isn't it? Let's see if this one's a little shorter.
Should do something that people look to.
Alright.
So, all these good men, basically good manners.
Alright.
and integrity.
Nope, a little shorter. Let's try that one. I don't need to be that tall. When you're short and you get that tall, it feels awkward.
Alright.
I come up to the guy.
I try to follow you all
Yeah.
most Friday nights.
Do ya? Good.
Yeah, a lot of times I'm driving back from
Well, hopefully everybody will see us in here as they walk in.
Why would you do that? He's no idea what I want.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to make sure we're rocking and rolling on our video, and we are. So,
Why did he think people were standing?
No, he went to the left and was,
whoop,
you know,
put this over here.
be like in the left lane instead of right. But it really, got to it, and so all these different things that he says.
You were saying something to him, so did he then get into the line?
No, but then he got caught. His bag was randomly searched.
This morning, don't ask me why.
Start whenever you want, Rabbi.
We're gonna get going. Actually, it's a little after 6. So, yes, it is. It's almost 5 after. You're welcome to be seated for a moment if you'd like. And thank you for being here. So I'm not by myself. That's always nice. And Michael, welcome back. I know you've been watching from afar from Pensacola, so we're glad you're here. Right, sorry. There you go.
Pensacola's where my brother lives.
Ah,
Actually, Pace.
Panama City. No, the other side, a little south. North, south. Yeah, it's the same area, sort of. From here, it's the same area. But we're glad you're back and glad that you found your way here. And I'll say Happy New Year to everybody. Oh, here comes Phil. Happy New Year, and thanks for being here to start our new year off. Whether we get a minion or not, I'm not going to worry about that. We're going to do and have fun with what we can, and celebrate Shabbat as it should be, and welcome in the new year. So I know we're not welcoming in the new year until midnight, but we'll consider it our entry to 2022. Oh my goodness, how amazing that is, isn't it? Hard to believe. Yeah, so we'll begin with a Shabbat Nigun just to get us into the mood, and I will apologize, I've got no accompaniment tonight. I have, unfortunately, of course, Canner's last week, and I was gone, and then Orit and Arlene will be here next week. So I'm counting on all of you. Debbie, you got to sing, right?
Why do you think that I'm not going to sing?
Oh, I don't know, you're nodding, so you got to sing, all of you.
I regret telling me that.
So everybody's going to help out, and we're going to welcome in Shabbat as best we can. So let's do a little bit of my favorite. If my kids were here, this is the one they would choose. So let's do a little bim bam bim 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 bam bim 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 bam bim bam bim bam bim bam bim 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 bam bim 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 bam. Shabbat Shalom, hey Shabbat Shalom, hey Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, hey Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom. If you'll turn over to page 5 at the bottom, you will find Shalom Aleichem, our hymn that welcomes in the ministering angels into our midst. There's a wonderful tale where the angels go and look into the window of the home and say, is it Shabbat? Does it look like it's ready for Shabbat? Is it beautiful? Is there a table set? Are the kids all clean? Is everybody ready? And if it is, there's an angel. The good angel says, look, it looks like it's Shabbat. And the bad angel who's standing next to him has to say, Amen. But if they go to a house that they find the opposite, not ready for Shabbat, it's all messy, nobody cares, then the bad angel gets to say, may it be like this next week, and the good angel has to say, Amen. Let's hope that we are visited by the good angel who can say, let it be like this next week, and the bad angel has to say, yes, let it be that way. So we join together, that's the tale of the ministering angels upon which this hymn is connected. So we join together. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Borachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nile Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We turn back to page 4. There you'll find the Bracha for lighting the candles. We lit the candles a little bit ago, and we will now rise as we say the Bracha over the candles. Hadlakat Neirot. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner v'tzivanu lahadlik ner Vitzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. You are welcome to be seated. We are on page 11. You'll find the formal beginning of Kabbalah Shabbat, our service that welcomes in Shabbat. And as I said at the beginning, we're welcoming in another holiday. We'll talk about that in a little bit, which of course is our New Year. So page 11. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai. Naria, Naria, Litzur Yishenu, Nekadma Fana Bitoda. Naria, Naria, Litzur Yishenu, Bizmirat Naria Lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai. Ki el gadol Adonai malachodo al kol alihim asher baredo. On page 12, the last 5 lines. Arba'im shana kut bedor v'omar amtoi levavheim v'heim lo yadu d'rachai asher nishbati v'yapi im yevon el menuchati. You'll turn over to page 16. There you'll find the last 4 lines of Psalm 97. Or Zarua Lat Tzaddik, light is shown for the righteous and joy for the upright. I think this is a perfect song to sing as we look for the joy in the new year that's to come, and certainly the joy of Shabbat that ushers it in tonight. So page 16, last 4 lines. Or Zarua Lat Tzaddik, O Yishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua Lat Tzaddik, U Yishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua Lat Tzaddik, U Yishrei Lev Simcha. U Yishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua Lat Tzaddik, U Yishrei Lev Simcha. U Yishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua Lat Tzaddik, O Yishrei Lev Simcha, or zarua latzadik uyishrei lev simcha. Simchu tzadikim baronai v'hodu lezecher kodsho. We turn over to page 20. Familiar words, Romemu Adonai Eloheinu. Exalt Adonai our God, and raise up is really, we're raising up to God's holy mountain. There's the feel of it, of raising our spirits. So page 20 by the little arrow. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. We pick it up a little bit more. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kodsho. If you turn over to page 21, there you'll find Psalm 29, Mizmor LeDavid. We have the custom of standing for this psalm. Why, you may ask? Because this is the one service that we have that doesn't have an Amida in it. It doesn't have an Amidah. It doesn't have the standing prayer with the blessings that we're used to say. Kabbalah Shabbat doesn't have that. Mariv does, the evening does, but Kabbalah Shabbat doesn't. So our scholars in their infinite wisdom said, you know what? We need something that's like that. So they gave us Psalm 29, which mentions God's name several times. You see Havu Ladonai, and you talk about Kol Adonai, the voice of God. So we use this as our Amidah, if you will, our standing prayer in the Kabbalah Shabbat service. So little trivia for you. If you want to win the Bible or Judaic skills contest, here's your tefillah question, your prayer question. We rise as we sing together. Mizmor LeDavid, Havu Ladonai b'nei Elim, Havu Ladonai kavod va'oz, Havu Ladonai kevod shemo, Ishtachavu Ladonai behadrat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, El hakavod hirim, Adonai al mayim rabim, Kol Adonai b'koach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vayishaber Adonai et arzei halvanon, Vayarkidehem kemo egel Levanon v'Siryon kemo ven re'emim, Kol Adonai chotzef lavotesh, Kol Adonai Yachil Midbar, Yachil Adonai Midbar Kadesh, Kol Adonai Yecholel Ayalot, Vayechesov Yeharot, Uvehechalo Kulo Omer, Kulo Omer Kavod, Adonai Lamabu Yashav, Vayeshav Adonai Melech Le'alam, Adonai Oz Le'amo Yitain, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. You are welcome to be seated. Page 23, you'll find Lecha Dodi. We'll do the first two verses, and then we'll hit the last two verses on page 25. When we get to that last verse, I'll signal you as we will rise and face the door to welcome in the Sabbath bride or queen into our midst. So we'll get there. Page 23. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor b'zachor b'dibur echad. Hishmianu el hamyochad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'litilai already. Lecha Dodi, Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki mekor habaracha, Meherosh mikedem nesucha, Sof maseh b'machshavat tchila. Lecha, Lecha Dodi, Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Middle of 25. Yaminu smol tifrotzi, V'et Adonai taritzi, Al yarish ben partzi, V'nismecha v'nagila. Lecha, Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. We rise and face the door. B'hoi v'shalom ateret bala, Gam b'simcha u'v'tzola, Toch emunei am segula, B'hoi chala, B'hoi chala. Lecha, Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. You may be seated, and everyone in the room is now recruited for our wonderful choir. I will let Orit and Arlene know. You're all honorary members. Wonderful harmonizing. Thank you. Page 27, you'll find the psalm for Shabbat as we join together. Mizmor shir leyom hashabbat, Tov lehodot lahadonai, Ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, Ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Lehagid baboker chasdecha, Ve'emunatecha baleilot, Alei asor v'alei navel, Alei gayon bechinor. Mizmor shir leyom hashabbat, Tov lehodot lahadonai, Ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, Ulezamer b'shimcha elyon. כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך, ומעשי ידיך רנן. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. ישבר לא ידע וכסיל, לא יבין את סוד, בפרוח לשלם כמו עשב, יציצו כל פלאי אבן. We're on page 28 by the little arrow. Tzadika tamar yifrach ke'erez balevanon yizkeh shetulim beveit Adonai Bechatzrot Eloheinu Yafrichu Od Yenuvun Beseva Deshenim Verananim Yiyu Lehagid Ki Hashar Adonai Tzuri Tzuri Velo Avlatabo. Page 29. Adonai malach geud lavesh, lavesh Adonai os hitazar av tikon tevel maltimot. Edotecha nemnu me'ol levecha nava kodesh Adonai leorech yamim. I think we are one shy, as far as I can tell. So as we are one shy of a minyan, page 30, the last two lines of the Mourner's Kaddish, those reciting Mourner's Kaddish, we can recite these words as we pause to remember our loved ones. Bottom of 30. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, Hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. You are welcome to be seated. So before we go forward, I'm going to just take this off for a minute to be able to breathe for a second and share a little bit of Torah with you. Torah being the generic word for learning, for Jewish learning in this case, because I want to start with what the Mishnah teaches us. So the Mishnah teaches us that there are 4 days that can be properly called Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year. So technically there are 4 Rosh Hashanah, 4, right, heads of the year. Anybody know what they are? Okay, the most obvious one is which one? Rosh Hashanah, right? The first of Tishrei, when we sound the shofar and we change the year on our Jewish calendar there. That's the first one. That one becomes the most obvious. The next one is actually, or one of the other ones, is coming up in about a couple of weeks. It is called the New Year of the Trees, better known as Tu B'Shvat. So the 15th day of Shvat, which falls this month, I think it's January 17th, I think it's Monday, is Tu B'Shvat. When we plant our trees, that's the agricultural new year, if you will, right? And so any tree that, when you talk about age, you can't harvest from a tree that's under 3 years. Well, how do you know how old the tree is? Well, we're going to look at when it was planted, and it's from this Tu B'Shvat, that's its birthday, if you will, right? So it's if you came from Kentucky like I did, That's how they count horses, by the way. How do you know a horse is 2 years old or 3 years old? Same thing. There's an arbitrary date that's picked for that year, and that's how. So it may be 2.5 years, it may be 2 years and 8 months. It doesn't matter. That's how we count them. So it's a similar thing with our agriculture. When's the next one? So we have Rosh Hashanah, Tu B'Shvat. All right, well, close, yes, close. The first day of Nisan, close to Passover, the beginning of the month of Nisan before we hit Passover, when spring begins. That's considered really one of our New Year days in the Mishnah. And there's one other one, which, believe it or not, is, no, actually not Sukkot. It's actually the first day of Elul. You're close, sort of. I know Phil's, I can see his brow. Even with behind his mask, he's going, really? Yes, the first day of Elul, when a new fiscal year begins, technically. That's how it's counted, right? So we have the first of Elul, the first of Tishrei a month later, Tu B'Shvat a few months later, and then later into the spring, the ushering of the spring holiday, springtime, is the first of Nisan. And by the way, in the Torah, Tishrei, where Rosh Hashanah, is really the 7th month. So you go back to Nisan, that begins our new year according to the biblical calendar. All right, so one may argue, see, there's your other trivia. If you want to win the Jeopardy, right, Judaic Jeopardy, now you've got 2 things you can put in your back pocket you learned tonight. One may argue that it's appropriate to consider tomorrow, January 1st, as our 5th Rosh Hashanah. Why is that? Well, we herald in the secular New Year. Well, what do we often do? If you're in Times Square, what do you hear? Right? Horns, party horns, right? Maybe not a shofar, but you hear a party horn. Of course, there's a very big difference between Rosh Hashanah as we know it, our new Jewish New Year, and the beginning of the secular year. But there are many who argue that we need to add this as one of our special New Years on our calendar. For generally on Rosh Hashanah, what do we do? What do we spend the time of Rosh Hashanah doing? We make resolutions based on the kind of people we want to be, really on the inside. It's a spiritual exercise, right? We commit to being more sensitive to those around us. We care more about the welfare of others. We think about our behavior in terms of how we relate to God and to those around us. We try to be more appreciative of the blessings that touch our lives and to be more immersed in the study and practice of our faith. But on January 1st, what kind of New Year is that? Well, we tend to make resolutions more on what's on the outside. How many of you are planning to join a gym? Or, as my husband has said, I got to join the gym. I'm like, okay, wait till Omicron settles down. Then you can spend money on the gym, right? We didn't talk about the gym back on Rosh Hashanah. We were talking about inside. But you know what? We tend to think about, I'm going to diet. The biggest month for joining Weight Watchers, January. The gyms, January. We tend to think about, you know what, in the new year, I'm going to exercise more, I'm going to be more healthy on the outside, I'm going to finish the project on the house, right? I'm going to lead myself towards spring cleaning, if you will. I'm going to take on a new hobby or a skill. I'm going to learn to play an instrument. I'm going to do a craft. I'm going to take a class. Those are the things we tend to think about for our secular new year. Both are important aspects of our being, and I believe that our goal as Jews should always be to combine the two, so that our resolutions match both the outside and the inside. And we learn that in weeks to come when we build the tabernacle. We will learn about the ark that is gold on the outside and on the inside. And the question is asked, why on the inside? We only see the outside because the inside needs to relate and match the outside. What we see on the outside is important, but we need to recognize what's on the inside. So it seems to me that January 1st is the perfect time to give ourselves a checkup, if you will. So think for a moment, are you doing those inside resolutions that you had way back in September, those things that you thought about and read about in our Siddur and our Machzor? Are we doing those? Are we doing the things that we should be doing, those inside resolutions, those things that affect our spiritual health? Have we taken any steps into changing our attitudes or our actions? Have we taken more time to study, or do we spend more time with family or connect better to people around us? Do we observe Shabbat, perhaps, as you all are doing here tonight, in some special way? Or have we gone 4 months and realized that, you know what, we haven't made a whole lot of inside changes, and as we look towards what we need to do on the outside, maybe we need to remember, we have a few more months to start getting those inside things done too, so that they match our outside. So perhaps we can use this 5th new year as an opportunity to renew and to refocus our energy toward making the changes that we committed back on our other Rosh Hashanah, our first of Tishrei, even as we commit ourselves to new goals that we hope will improve our being as we move forward into 2022. So as we celebrate this special Shabbat, and I can't remember, does anybody remember how long it's been since we've had a New Year's Eve be Shabbat? Be Erev Shabbat? I can't remember it in my last 15 or 20 years. I'll have to look back. But it's, I think, quite unique that we are straddling Shabbat as we end a year. Tomorrow morning we'll get up, it'll be 2022, and we'll still be celebrating Shabbat. So I think it's a perfect Shabbat as we wait tonight for the clock to strike midnight, those of you who are night owls and waiting for that to happen, to watch the ball go down perhaps from Times Square on your TVs, as we welcome in that new secular year, I hope that we can continue to work on fulfilling the resolutions that will make our lives more meaningful, both inside and those from and on the outside. So I pray that 2022 be a happy, healthy, and certainly meaningful new year for everyone. Shabbat Shalom. And Happy New Year. Shana Tova, right? We can say. We're going to go forward in our evening service on page 39a. There you will see, and we'll stay seated, so we don't quite have a minyan. We won't do Baruch, but we can begin with the blessing of creation. And if you'll join with me, actually, in the English on 39a, towards the left, the first bracha before the Shema, the coming of evening light. Let's read together. Baruch atah Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, whose word brings the evening dusk, whose wisdom opens the gates of dawn, whose understanding changes the day's division, whose will sets the succession of seasons and arranges the stars in their places in the sky, who creates day and night, who rolls light before darkness and darkness from light, who makes day pass into night, who distinguishes day from night. Adonai Tzivaot is your name. Living and ever-present God, may your rule be with us forever and ever. Baruch atah Adonai, who brings each evening's dusk. Umavir yom umehevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai Tzivaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamari Varavim. Page 40, we join together. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amchavta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Al kein Adonai Eloheinu B'shochveinu v'kumeinu Nasiach b'chukecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha U'v'mitzvotecha Le'olam va'ed Ki heim chayeinu Ve'orech yameinu Uvahem negei yomam v'layla Ki heim chayeinu Ve'orech yameinu Uvahem negei yomam v'layla Ki heim chayeinu Ve'orech yameinu Uvahem negei yomam v'layla Ki heim chayeinu v'yorech yameinu uvahem negei yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu li'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael Melech Neman Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Vaed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinanta hamlevanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ug'shartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha. We read in the English on 41 together. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all that is yours. These words that I command you this day shall be taken to heart. Teach them again and again to your children. Speak of them when you sit in your home, when you walk on your way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand and as a symbol above your eyes. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your homes and upon your gates. We continue silently 42. Adonai Elohechem Hamet. We turn over to page 44. Umalchuta beratzon kiblu aleihem Moshe Miriam uvnei Yisrael echanu shira b'simcha rabba v'yamru chulam mi chamacha b'helim Adonai mi chamacha nedar b'kodesh Nora tehilot o sefele malchutecha rahuvanecha bokei ayam lifnei Moshe zelianu vehamru Adonai yimloch leolam vahed V'ne'emar kifat Adonai et Yaakov u'ge'alo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael. Page 45, you'll find the second bracha that comes after the Shema. This is our bracha for Shalom, for peace. This was traditionally Shkivenu, a prayer we would say at our bedside as we were going to bed at night. It's even has many melodies, one of which is a beautiful lullaby melody. I will not sing it for you tonight. But it is a very beautiful prayer, and I think that if we join together in the English on the left side of the page as we acknowledge the hope that when we go to sleep tonight, we will sleep peacefully and that we'll awaken to a brighter tomorrow, and certainly in this case, a brighter year for all of us. Page 45, if you'll join with me. Allow us, Adonai, our God, to sleep peacefully. Awaken us to life, O Sovereign. Spread over us your canopy of peace. Restore us with your good counsel, and save us for the sake of your name. Shield us. Remove from us enemies, pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings. For you, God, watch over and deliver us. And you, God, are sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. Ensure our going and coming for life and peace, now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Amen. Ushmor tzeiteinu uvoheinu l'chaim u'l'shalom yatav yad olam ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim. We rise as we join together in the singing of Vishamru, page 46, reminding us that this Shabbat is an oath, a sign of the covenant we share with God each and every day of life, each week, and especially as we again acknowledge the arrival of a new year. Page 46. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam Beini uvein bnei Yisrael oti leolam oti leolam oti leolam Vishamru bnei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz Vishamru bnei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam Uvayom hashvi Shavat vaynafash Shavat vaynafash Shavat vaynafash Vishamru bnei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. You'll find the silent Amidah beginning on page 47 through 52. As always, feel free to add your own personal thoughts to the words on the page, and when you're through, you're welcome to be seated. scared them off. Welcome to be seated if you wish. Page 51, you'll find Shalom Rav right in the middle. That's our last section of the Amidah that asks for abundance of shalom, of peace, and lasting peace, something that we can bring to the world in partnership with God that will hopefully change the world for all of us. And that's always our hope, that we end this Amidah, those personal prayers that we have for shalom, whether on Shabbat or on regular day of the week. We always end with that prayer for shalom. So we join together the middle of 51. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Kol Yoshvei Tevel Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Kol Yoshvei Tevel Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol heit u'b'chol shah b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Kol Yoshvei Tevel Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. If you'll turn in the back towards the back of your book, or in the middle of your book on 173, this is where we always add our special prayer for healing. And I think tonight, as again we approach a new year, we certainly pray for healing for those who are ill, whether spiritual, physical, emotional, and certainly we pray for the healing of our world in general. And a little extra healing from COVID wouldn't hurt either, would it? So page 173, I hope you'll join with me as we keep those who are in need of healing in our thoughts and prayers together. 173 in the far left. Mi shebeirach avoteinu mekor habaracha leimoteinu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi shebeirach imoteinu mekor habaracha lavoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Refuah Shalema. That sounds good. It's pretty. We turn back in our Siddur to page 55. There you will find Kiddush for Shabbat, as we lift a cup of grape juice in celebration and toasting the Sabbath. You might be toasting with champagne, with friends and family, or just alone maybe later on this evening, and that's okay too. But tonight we take a cup of grape juice or wine, as we will. So I ask if you're able to rise as we take a cup in hand and toast this beautiful Shabbat together and the new year that is to come tonight as well. Page 55. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinechilanu zikaron l'maseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila l'mikra'ei kodesh zecher l'tziyat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinachaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. Not quite the bubbly, but you know. We remain standing as we turn to Aleinu, page 56. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, la'teit gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, v'lo samanu kamishpechat ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gohor aleinu kichol hamonam, v'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim ulifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu she'unotei shamayim beyoser haaretz umoshav yikaro b'shamayim imal ushchinatu zo begohei meromim hu Eloheinu einod emet malkeinu efesulato kapatu b'torato v'yadata hayom b'hashevota elevavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim b'shamayim imal v'al haaretz mitachat einod. Again, kaber v'chananu inu le'er never church zecha. Shabbat. Just let them know. כי המלכות שלך היא ולעמיה תמלוך בכבוד, ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו to be seated. As we take a moment to pause and remember, as we don't quite have a minyan, we will turn to page 30. On the far left side of the page, you'll find a prayer that we can recite that is in place of our Mourner's Kaddish that reminds us of those who we are remembering. And tonight, as we pause for our moment of memory, we continue to give condolences to the family of Myrna Always, wife of Howard Always. The funeral was this afternoon, and I know that they would appreciate any hugs of support you can give them during this difficult time. And I know the family, again, would appreciate our greetings and our thoughts going their way. We also continue to observe through the Shloshim, remembering Matilda Grisoris, mother of Adrian Grisoris, and Phil, your mother, Ellen Paznornik. We keep her in our thoughts as well as you continue through the Shloshim period for a little bit longer. We also mention the names of those whose yortzites occur today and the week that is coming. Joseph Baseman, Bessie Buchhalter, Erwin Michael Danziger, Frida Zayalozinski, Erna Epstein, Janice Garlitz, Erwin Glazer, Ann Goldberg, Roberta Greenberg, Mary Getzler Harris, Marlene Hartstein, Isidore Hirschman, Milton S. Jacobs, Gustav Kahn, Arthur Kaiser, Beatrice Gans Klein, Leonard Leighton, Patricia Lynn, Ann Lunenfeld, Bertha Lusky, Jacob Magir, Anton Saknowitz, Ernest Simon, Bruce Sorensen, and Carmen Villanueva. Are there any others? If there are, certainly add their names out loud or within your thoughts. As those reciting Mourner's Kaddish, if again you'll rise and turn with me to page 30, the far left in the small print. Ribono shel olam, Elohei haruchot lechol basar, Master of the world, God of the spirit of all flesh, it is revealed and known before you that it is my fervent desire to praise your name and to remember and honor my beloved by reciting the Mourner's Kaddish in the company of a minyan. May my presence here today with my community find favor in your eyes and be accepted and received before you as if we had prayed the Kaddish. May your name, Adonai, be elevated and sanctified everywhere on earth, and may peace reign everywhere. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Praise be the name of the one whose glorious sovereignty is forever and ever. Together, Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru. Amen. You are welcome to be seated. A few quick announcements. So if you're not too tired from staying up too late tonight, you can join us tomorrow morning at 9:15 a.m. We will be here bright and early. We'll do a little bit of davening, a little bit of study, as we always do, a little reading Torah. Shane Epstein will be helping out. He is our upcoming bar mitzvah, and not this week, of course, not this Shabbat, but next Shabbat. So you can give him some support as he helps to lead parts of the service and in preparation for January 8th for his bar mitzvah. So please come tomorrow morning, help make a minyan, and celebrate the first Shabbat and first day of the new year. So good excuse to come. Don't forget, as always, on Sunday you'll find our minyan here at 9 a.m. and during the rest of the week, 7:30, as always, here in the social hall. There are a few quick announcements. If you haven't already seen, there is a number of things coming up in the first week or two of our first month of the year for January. We have our Girls Rosh Chodesh program, Wednesday, January 5th at 6 o'clock, open to all 5th through 12th graders, girls, by the way, sorry guys, but girls, for a fun Rosh Chodesh Zumba, where we will discuss B'Tselem Elohim. We're going to talk about being created in the image of God, and what does that mean for our bodies, for our brains, for our minds. It's certainly an important topic, especially for this age group. As we hit the teenage years, we want our kids to be confident, not just Jewishly, but certainly who they are as human beings, their bodies and their minds. And so this is geared towards that. As we celebrate Rosh Chodesh, traditionally Rosh Chodesh is seen as a woman's holiday. So we're going to bring our girls together, have some fun. So anyone who is a 5th through 12th grader, if you know anyone who would like to come, just let us know. You can RSVP to Melanie. There'll be a dinner involved as well, a light dinner with the kids. So please come for, again, 5th through 12th grade girls. Also, Tu B'Shvat is a family fun day, Sunday, January 9th at 12:15. We'll be in the Cavi Family Pavilion outdoors. Hopefully the weather will be nice. As we join with PJ Library and our Agudas community for a community-wide Tu B'Shvat celebration. We mentioned Tu B'Shvat. You now know, right? It is one of those 4 New Year's cited in the Mishnah, 5 if you want to add tomorrow. But we come enjoy our farmers market, hay rides, crafts, and other outdoor surprises. And you can register at jfsatx.org. You can see the in our weekly email. It'll be there, and you can register if you'd like to come or come. Let us know that you're coming, so we have enough of those outdoor surprises, which I have no clue what they are. So we'll find out. Come and find out. There's also a wonderful program for community-minded and social action-minded people. Here you go, community author event. This is called West Side Rising. It's a book by Char Miller. Monday, January 10th at 7 o'clock. We are, our social action Chavara is focusing on environmental sustainability this year, and they are helping to sponsor and organize this community event. You can purchase the book from Trinity University Press. If you, I'm sure if you do Amazon, you might get it by the first of the week and have enough time to even read it if you're a fast reader by January 10th. 7 o'clock, you can check your weekly email for a discount code and how to register for the event as well. It will be on Zoom, but you can also go in person, at least at this point. That's the plan. So you can look for your email, weekly email, to register for that. Don't forget Sisterhood Shabbat is Saturday, January 15th. We know that well, don't we, Phil? Because Karen, I know, is gearing up for that. She's studying a Haftarah in preparation. So save the date for our annual Sisterhood Shabbat. We'll have more details to come, but I am sure there'll hopefully be a lovely morning participating, with our women participating in particular. And then one final plug, which Michael has heard this before, our Turning Points in Jewish History class is going to begin with me. We're going to stay on Zoom for the time being. It's going to start January 26th, so save the date, 7:30 on Zoom. And we're going to be studying through the book of Turning Points in Jewish History. You can get that book by Mark Rosenstein. And we're going to study and explore pivotal themes and issues from our history that continue to touch us as Jews today. What makes us who we are? What are the things that have influenced us as we've moved forward in our lives through history? So it's a fascinating book. It's an easy read, about six pages each chapter. We're going to try to tackle at least one chapter each time and discuss. So if you'd like to join the class, I encourage you to go ahead and get the book. And again, you can order it, probably can find it on used bookstore sites as well. And come join me 7:30 on Zoom. Call or RSVP to Jessica in the office so that you can receive the Zoom link to join in on the fun. And with that, I think that is all of our announcements for this first week coming up of January to be aware of. Certainly, we ask everybody's help to continue to make minions. We've been doing very well with that. I know tonight was a little bit different, but that's to be expected given the time of year. And yes, Debbie, I know you have some Hadassah things probably that didn't get on the list.
It should be on the list because
Mm-hmm.
blue boxes.
Wonderful.
And what to do with the filled ones, and rotating out the new ones. And we're selling also trees in Israel.
Wonderful.
And so all of that is going to be done through Hadassah in partnership with J&F and SAWS.
Wonderful.
And to RSVP for that, Pat Cowens, who's a member here, she is taking emails at tcowens@gmail.com. And all of that is in the Agudas newsletter.
Yep, you will get it this probably as we grade past the first of the year. You'll have 3 weeks to get all that information. Actually, more than that, almost 4 weeks to get all that information. So watch your emails for this week. It will have all of our upcoming, all of these things, including that program and some other things going on in the community as well as we kind of leave the holidays season behind us and winter break and school break and come back to real life again. So keep that, all of those wonderful events and programs in mind. We're going to turn to page 62 as we end this evening with a little Yigdal, a wonderful hymn that reminds us of God's presence in our lives, and I think that's a theme that's wonderful to end on as we, again, celebrate this last Shabbat of the year and this first Shabbat of the year. So, page 62, if you'll join with me. Yigdal Elohim chai ve'yishtabach nimtza v'yenei del mitziuto echad v'yen yachid keyichudo ne'lam v'gam ein sof le'yachduto ein lo demuta guf ve'eino guf lo na'aroch elav kedushato kadmon l'chol davar asher nivra rishon v'yein reshit l'reshito hino adon olam v'chol notzar yoreh gedulato u'malchuto shefan nevuato netano Elan shesegulato v'tifarto lo kam b'Yisrael kemo she'od naviu mahabit et temunato Torah temet natan le'amoel al yad nevi'o neman beito Lo yachalif ha'el v'lo yamir dato le'olamim lezulato Sofer v'yodeya sitareinu mabit l'sof davar b'kadmato Gomer li'ish chesed kemifalo noten rashara kerishato yishlach l'ketz yamin meshichenu liftot nachakeket yeshuato Meitim Yechayel Beroch Hasto Baruch Adei Had Shem Tehilato Meitim Yechayel Beroch Hasto Baruch Adei Had Shem Tehilato Shabbat Shalom, hey Shabbat Shalom, hey Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, hey Shabbat Shalom, hey Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, hey, Shabbat, Shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom, everybody. Thank you for being here, and a Happy New Year.
You're kind of good.
I'm just,
It's I'm doing energy program. Yeah, okay, good. And so it's congratulations.
That was the main reason why.
No, I always
it's,
But all of a sudden,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So when you
oh God. My wife picked me up. We'll see how it goes.
well, I understand. Hey, this is a great place to retire.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, like, it's like, when you get here,
Well, we'll see.
You've been here for a little while?
We have. We'll see. I don't know.
Let me grab it.
Yeah. Are you gonna do
Go
that?
party!
Yes,
Six and 8 year olds. They're determined to stay up tonight.
I like the stories, yeah, it's great. Okay.
I always like the perspectives that they bring. And things. It helps me.
Yeah.
One of my favorite places to hear
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
I hear you.
No, I hear you. I hear you, yeah, I hear you. Good to see you, man.
good, tell you.
See you tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Awesome, great to see you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, wow.
Good night.
Right, shalom, everybody.
How long are you in town for?
I'm gonna leave Sunday. I've
Okay.
been here since, I've been here for a couple weeks.
Really?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Will you go back?
Panama City, Florida.
Panama City,
Typical Air Force base.
I know.
I work at the
He
Air Force.
was here.
I was here at JBSA. And so,
Which command?
which one?
Which command are you in?
I'm in the Air Force Civil Nurse Center, so I work at the intermediate headquarters. But the base is under ACC, under Air Combat Command. So, I do.
It's so complicated in the Air Force.
That's
Why is it always so complicated?
so I'm famous to confuse the Chinese.
Whoa,
Either that or confuse Washington.
Confuse the Russians, confuse the Chinese. That's
Well, it confuses me too.
That's
Well, your army.
It's
There you go.
And it's working.
Right, there you go. Right.
It's working. See?
There you go. Right.
Is that your book?
No, actually,
It is now.
It is
No,
now.
it's something that Rick.
I'm gonna-
Okay, good.
I'm gonna-
Yeah.
It's,
We were just talking about.
there was an editorial on the Wall Street about all the religions are down.
Yeah.
I think, and for Jewish and Islam, it's about 6% or so. But the nuns, they call them nuns,
Yeah.
the nuns are big enough, so.
That's right, yeah, non-denominational, I think that's theoretically the fastest growing denomination.
Well, the
Yeah, the nuns, that's what I'm saying.
non-religion.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, I've been thinking just about the general concept ever since Hanukkah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a 1,000-year, several thousand year, fight. Assimilation back then, and we're still fighting the fight.
That's a very good,
Yeah.
I mean, you want to be accepted accepted and embrace
Yeah,
who
I can't.
you are, but not be so assimilated that you don't maintain your identity. And
When Scott looked at the actual population, but then what happens is that the reform movement made a little bit of thing, because if either of your parents are Jewish, even if you are attending a church, you're still Jewish in the reform movement. So if you take that, our numbers are down considerably. And the premise, I knew Scott a while after I worked for him.
Did you?
Yeah,
Really?
I did. I was a lawyer, and I did one that he did. I was very happy because of a bunch of arrogant New Yorkers. The arrogant lawyer, an arrogant lawyer went to, Scott, it's like, I want to hire a law firm, and not doing any research at all. But when you walk into a meeting with no preparation, no. But this guy, I'm like, oh, so he says, so Scott, what are you doing? He says, well, I'm chairman of the bank. Oh, which bank? It's called Sisterhood Bank. Oh, well, where's that? And he looked, he said, in your lobby. And he looked, says, I guess the signage we should get better signage. He walked out, he knew me. He walked out of that meeting, and from the steps, just outside the building, called me up and said, do you do such and such? I'm like, yeah, I do that law. Came over and I won the thing. Part of it was, I knew that he's an Orthodox Jew. When he came to our firm, I had, some food out, and he had his investment bankers and stuff. And they walked in, and everything in the room was kosher. Because the law firm I worked for, like 20% of us were Orthodox. We had our mini.
Wow.
So so he comes and says, what's kosher? I said, everything's kosher. I said, literally even the coffee's kosher. Everything's kosher. And he looks, he says, but I know you don't keep kosher. I said, yeah, but I can eat the good stuff. But he looked at, he looks at the population. What he does is he comes up with various things. What I was telling you was repeat your bar mitzvah every 18 years. He started
18 years.
18 years. He started a charity called Chai Mitzvah. And it does things. But at the back of the book, at least the first edition, there's an actual business plan outline of what we should do. And some of the things that he said was that we have to promote having kids, aside from birthright and all that, what can we do to create a greater affinity with Israel? And what can we do on college campuses? We are finding kids. Okay, so kids graduate college. In the college years, his premise is that this is where you could really be swayed. And you might decide to stay affiliated, or you may decide not to be affiliated. Well, if you're confronted, like you are now at Duke University, that you can't even be part of a school-sanctioned club because you're a bunch of fascists, how do you respond to that? Because if you don't enable the kids to respond, then what's their response? I'm not going to be affiliated. Yeah.
So it's contemporary.
Yeah, you looked at it. He's on the third
say the